Welcome back to Open Facts, where we uncover the most fascinating truths from every corner of life, past and present. Some stories are so unbelievable, they sound like fiction. But what if we told you someone actually tried to sell the Eiffel Tower? Twice. Or that one of the greatest inventions of our time came from a Hollywood star? These aren't urban legends, they're real, outrageous, and completely true. Get ready for 7 of the wildest, most unbelievable true stories history has to offer. Let's begin. 1. The man who tried to sell the Eiffel Tower. Twice. You've heard of selling your soul, but have you heard of selling the Eiffel Tower? In the 1920s, Paris was struggling with the cost of maintaining its iconic Eiffel Tower. At the time, there were rumors that the landmark might be dismantled and sold for scrap metal. The city was facing a financial crisis, and people were speculating about the tower's future. That's when Victor Lustig, a daring con artist, saw an opportunity. Victor wasn't just any ordinary scammer, he was bold. He forged official government documents and invited scrap metal dealers to a secret meeting. He pretended to be a high-ranking French official, offering the Eiffel Tower for sale. One dealer fell for it and even paid a bribe to secure the contract. Lustig vanished with the cash. The dealer, too embarrassed to report it, never came forward. Emboldened, Lustig returned months later to try the scam again. But this time, the potential buyer grew suspicious and notified the police. Lustig narrowly escaped capture and fled the country. He didn't succeed a second time, but the fact that he tried to sell the Eiffel Tower twice makes him one of history's most audacious con artists. And the iconic landmark? Well, it's still standing in Paris today. 2. The Hollywood star behind Wi-Fi. Imagine this. You're using Wi-Fi right now, but do you know who helped invent it? A Hollywood actress. Her name was Hedy Lamarr, and she wasn't just a beautiful star of 1940s Hollywood. Behind the scenes, Hedy was an inventor. Self-taught in engineering, she was fascinated with technology, especially during World War II. At that time, military communication was a major vulnerability, as enemy forces could easily jam signals. To help, Hedy teamed up with composer George Antheil. Together, they developed a revolutionary idea, a system that could change frequencies during transmission, making it nearly impossible to jam. They called it frequency hopping, and it would later become the foundation of technologies like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and even GPS. But guess what? Hedy never saw a penny for her genius invention. The U.S. Navy didn't recognize its potential, and their patent expired. For years, Hedy was known only for her acting career, and her contribution to wireless communication went unrecognized. Decades later, scientists realized that Hedy's frequency hopping system was the blueprint for the technologies we use every day. Now, we honor her legacy as a pioneer in tech. Hedy Lamarr, a Hollywood star and the unsung mother of wireless technology. 3. The Man Who Saved the World, by Disobeying Orders. The world nearly ended in 1983, and only one man stopped it, by disobeying orders. In September 1983, Stanislav Petrov, a Soviet officer, was monitoring a satellite system when alarms suddenly went off. The system reported that the U.S. had launched 5 nuclear missiles toward the Soviet Union. According to the protocol, he was supposed to report it immediately and order a retaliatory strike. The world was on the brink of nuclear war. But Petrov hesitated. He had a gut feeling that something didn't add up. Why would the United States only launch 5 missiles? If it was truly a full-scale attack, it would be hundreds, not just 5. So, instead of following orders, Petrov decided not to report the alert. He called it a false alarm and chose to wait. He was under immense pressure. If he was wrong, the world would pay the price. But in the end, he trusted his instincts. It turned out, Petrov was right. The alert was a glitch, a malfunction in the satellite system. There were no missiles, no threat. Petrov had just saved the world. Despite the magnitude of his decision, Petrov received no medal, no accolades. In fact, he was even reprimanded for not following orders. Yet, quietly, with one decision, he protected the world from nuclear disaster. Stanislav Petrov, the silent hero who saved us all. 4. The Selfie That Caught a Murderer. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but in this case, it was worth a murder conviction. In 2015, Brittany Gargle, an 18-year-old from Saskatchewan, Canada, was found dead on the side of the road. She had been strangled with a black leather belt. Police had no solid leads until they turned to social media. Investigators found that just hours before Brittany's death, one of her friends, Cheyenne Antoine, posted a selfie of the two of them together. The twist? In the photo, Cheyenne was wearing the exact same belt used to strangle Brittany. It was crucial evidence. The timeline matched, and the belt was identified as the murder weapon. When questioned, Cheyenne eventually confessed to the murder, admitting that they had a fight and things got out of control. She strangled her best friend in a moment of rage. The selfie, which was meant to capture a fun moment, became the key piece of evidence in solving the case. It's a reminder. Sometimes, one photo can change everything. 5. The guy who made $1 million with a potato. How do you turn a potato into $1 million business? This guy figured it out, and it's not what you think. In 2015, Alex Craig came up with an idea that was ridiculous but somehow genius. What if you could send anonymous messages on real potatoes? He launched Potato Parcel, a website where people could pay to send potatoes with any message they wanted written on them. From birthday wishes to funny insults, people could send it all, with just a potato. It started as a joke. No one took it seriously at first. But then, something wild happened. The idea went viral. Celebrities talked about it, news outlets picked it up, and people couldn't stop laughing about it. Before Alex knew it, his little potato business was making over $1 million. He even went on Shark Tank to pitch the idea. Sometimes the craziest ideas are the ones that become successful. All it took was a potato and a little bit of creativity. 6. The time Pepsi owned a military fleet. In the 1970s, the Soviet Union made a surprising decision. It allowed Pepsi to become one of the first American products sold inside the country. But there was a catch. The Soviets couldn't pay in US dollars, so they bartered Pepsi for vodka. Stolichnaya flowed into American stores. Pepsi flowed into Soviet hands. The deal worked for a while. Then, in the 1980s, the USSR invaded Afghanistan. In response, the US imposed sanctions, including on Soviet vodka. Now Pepsi couldn't sell the vodka, and the barter collapsed. With no foreign currency and no vodka, the Soviets had nothing to pay with. So, in 1989, Pepsi's CEO, Donald Kendall, went to Moscow to renegotiate. He asked for $3 billion worth of payment. The Soviets made an unusual counteroffer. Warships, 17 submarines, a cruiser, a frigate, a destroyer. And just like that, Pepsi, a soft drink company, briefly owned the 6th largest navy in the world. They didn't keep it. The ships were sold to a Swedish company for scrap, for about $3 million. One Pepsi executive quipped, "We're disarming the USSR faster than the US government." It wasn't a marketing stunt. It was Cold War business. The day Pepsi became a naval superpower, for real. 7. The man who claimed the moon and more. In 1980, Dennis Hope found a loophole in an international treaty. He was out of work and looking for a creative way to make money, when he remembered something strange about the 1967 United Nations Outer Space Treaty. The treaty said no country could own the moon, but it said nothing about individuals. So, Hope filed a claim at his local county office. He declared himself the legal owner of the moon, and later of Mars, Venus, Mercury, and Jupiter's moons. Then he started selling lunar real estate, 1 acre at a time, with certificates, and a space constitution. And the wild part? People bought it. He claims to have sold over 600 million acres, earning millions of dollars from buyers all over the world, including 3 former U.S. presidents, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, and George H.W. Bush. He even sent a letter to the UN, informing them of his ownership. They never responded. Was it legal? Dubious? Was it genius? Maybe. But it really happened. Dennis Hope, the man who claimed the moon and made a business out of it. Those were today's wildest stories, and there are many more to come. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and share this video so you're here for the next mind-blowing adventure.